And welcome to Columbus, folks, the world-famous Ohio State Buckeyes.
Y'all Scarlet Unis, I think they'll sweet.
So I've made a lot of recent content about this situation and ongoing quarterback battle with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Bucs are not unfamiliar with QB battles under Ryan Day, but there is something that is just super intriguing about this year's battle following a national championship win. It's actually been quite rare to see just a one-year stint behind center, because normally most Ohio State QBs get brought in at a super young age, so they have to play at least 2 years before moving on to the NFL or being replaced. But we knew 2024 was a one-and-done thing for Will Howard going into it. So all the attention to what would be next was predictable following the end of last season, and Julian Sayin just recently spoke to the media via 11 Warriors, so shout out to them, and he made some major statements that should have you pumped and fired up as a Buckeyes fan as we get closer and closer to the beginning of next season. So that's really what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about what Julian Sayin said and what the takeaways were. And also I want to give some updates on linking keinholz, and there is one prospect at tight end that some of you guys have been begging for me to talk about, so I'll get to that as well. But before I do begin real fast, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so the first thing that Julian Sayin spoke about in his small press conference was about his understanding of the game. Here's exactly what he said word for word. I think I've grown in just understanding more about the game, watching tape, being able to match routes with my feet and my drop, and all those things. I think spring was a great time because we got so many reps, just getting on the same page with the receivers and then just improving as an offense, as a unit. Sayin and keinholz were neck and neck throughout the spring, but the California native turned in a far superior spring game, leaving a strong impression heading into the summer. Last season, Sayin appeared in 4 games as a true freshman, completing 5 of 12 passes for 84 yards and a touchdown. The 6-foot-tall quarterback is known for his quick release and strong processing skills, though he'll need to still prove his toughness throughout the season. Learning behind Will Howard may have been a blessing in disguise for him. I think Will Howard was such a great leader to learn from, Sayin said himself. He was someone who was able to get the entire team around him, get that entire building to rally around him, and to be a successful quarterback, leadership is essential, and that's exactly what Sayin is striving to develop. His time in Columbus appears to be arriving, even if it's not official just yet. Here were some of the best parts of Julian Sayin's full interview, so it's not just me telling you, and you can actually hear everything for yourself.
Yeah, I think it was definitely fun to get out there in the spring game and have a good showing with the offense, and the receivers made a lot of great plays and running backs made some great plays too, and O-line did a great job up front.
How do you feel like you and Lincoln are making each other better?
Yeah, we definitely have a competitive room. Me, Link, Tavian, Eli, and all the guys, and it's definitely fun. It's competitive, but we have each other's backs no matter what.
Is that something that you embrace, just being in that competitive room?
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, it's definitely good to have a competitive room because it brings the best out of each other. But off the field we have each other's back no matter what. We're supportive of each other.
Ryan Day has talked about leaders needing to step up his team. Even though you're only a second-year guy, do you feel like you have that responsibility to be a leader this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think we definitely need important leadership just because of how many players we lost last year. We had such an older team, it's a younger team this year. But it's definitely important to have these leaders step up and definitely embracing that role.
I think Julian is definitely embracing this new role. A lot of the things he said is just kind of what you would expect to hear out of an interview and just someone saying the right things. And while yes, the quarterback battle is one where everyone has each other's back, Julian obviously wants to win. He wants to beat everyone out. He has that competitive spirit and wants to be the guy, no matter the cost. And I also think something big that he said was how young this team is. With the roster turnover, it's hard to build experience in college because as soon as you build up a winning team, you're naturally going to lose guys. It's hard to build experience in college because as soon as you build up a winning team, you're naturally going to lose like half the guys. But I don't think the youth should really be something to worry about because this is the most talented team in college football. And I would say to not worry about a slow start because of how young the team is. But honestly, last year the team had an extremely slow start with older guys, so I expect no change. Here's what else Julian had to say the rest of the interview.
And what did you learn just from watching Will lead this team a year ago?
Yeah, I think Will was such a great leader to learn from, and he was someone who was able to get the entire team around him, get the entire building to rally around him. So definitely important to see that, and a lot of respect for Will, obviously.
How are you seeing this team kind of rally together going into preseason camp?
Yeah, it's good. We've gotten a lot closer this offseason, and that's definitely something that we needed to do. And gotten a lot closer in the spring, and then in this summer, we've just got closer as a team. It's going to help us in this fall.
Does it feel like a new page, kind of putting last year behind you and moving on to something new?
Yeah, 100%. Even in the spring, we agreed on that. It's definitely a new team and a new season, and just focus on what we got to do. Game 1, game 2, game 3, just keep moving.
He definitely has the right mindset going into next year. He's kind of putting last year in the rearview mirror, but obviously he's not going to forget the takeaways. He's going to play with some swagger too. I mean, think back to when Will Howard stomped on the cigarette during the Indiana game, or how fired up he got when he made a big play in the playoff run. Sayin will need to play with that same energy and same tenacity. He's going to have to emulate some of those things, and there is no doubt in my mind that he will. But Julian was not the only guy that recently did an interview with 11 Warriors, and Lincoln Keinholz is still not completely out of the picture in terms of the actual starting job, even though at this point I think his odds to win the job are super low, but he did do a mini press conference as well, so here's what he had to say.
Do you see the same qualities in this year's team that allowed you guys to be so successful last year?
Yeah, we have a bunch of talent. We're just young, so not a lot of experience across the board, but it's there. We got a lot of talent, a lot of skills. So,
how much does it drive you knowing you can play a bigger role this year to want to go do again what you did last year?
Honestly, I think this year's like a big year for me. It's honestly a defining moment for my career. I feel like it is because I'm in a position to go out there and play a lot or start depending on what happens in fall camp. It's a great time, great spot. So,
how do you feel like you and Julian have made each other better?
Honestly, I think it starts in weight room as well. We're pushing each other here and there. Also OTAs. We're just go out there competing as well. And Jules is a great dude, a great quarterback as well. So,
what do you think it is about you and him as well that made you guys both want to stay here and compete for this job?
I think it's just the people, coaches. Columbus is awesome. That's a big reason why I chose Ohio State, since Columbus is, it's a great spot for sports and tradition, everything like that, and school as well.
So you embrace that competition?
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, now moving on. In my most recent Buckeyes video I didn't talk about Max Clare, the transfer from Purdue. I know Ohio State really kind of in the past have not utilized the tight end position in the passing game that much, but I think this is the season that changes because this is a player with so much raw talent. I remember in the Purdue game over the last few years, he was like the only player that could do anything against the Buckeyes secondary, and Purdue losing him definitely sucks. That's kind of the downside of NIL, is that the lesser programs can't keep any of the talent they developed and had, but hey, the times have changed and there are a lot of positives to NIL as well. Players should have always been able to at least make some sort of money off their names. I'm not saying it has to be millions, but there was no reason why big-time athletes could not even accept a free sandwich when the NCAA was making billions off their name. So I'm glad we are in this new era, even though, again, for programs like Purdue, it kind of sucks that you can't hold on to your good players. Last season, in that horrific Boilermakers offense, Clare put up just under 700 yards with 4 touchdowns and around 13.5 yards per catch. So when he did get the ball, he was making plays. He had some good games against Penn State and Michigan State, both teams that were ranked when Purdue played them. And again, I can only imagine what kind of production he can put up in a Buckeyes offense if he was able to do what he did in that Purdue offense that could barely get first downs even against unranked teams. So yeah, he is definitely somebody to really keep an eye out for if you are a Buckeyes fan. And this is an exciting time because we are about 4 to 5 weeks away from the season. I need football back in my life so bad, especially college football. I love the NFL, but there is something about college sports that you just can't beat. That's really all I have to say for this video though. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the upcoming season that is about 4 to 5 weeks away now. It's going to be here before you know it. Time just flies, man. It really does, especially as you get older. But thank you all so much for your continued support, and until next time, I will see you all later.